In a small Swedish town called Trollhättan, workers are gathering for the last time. It's December 2011, and they're about to witness something unthinkable. A company that once built fighter jets to defend their nation, that revolutionized car safety, and created some of the most innovative cars ever made, is about to die. But this isn't just a story about a car company dying. This is a story about how the minds behind Sweden's fighter jets decided to build cars, and of how a small Swedish company dared to challenge the giants of the automotive world. To understand how it all came crashing down, we need to go back to 1937, when Europe stood on the edge of war, and a group of brilliant aircraft engineers were about to embark on one of the most fascinating journeys in automotive history. This is the story of Saab, and it begins with a fighter jet. In 1937, as World War II threatened Europe, neutral Sweden faced a problem. They couldn't buy fighter planes from other countries. It would mean taking sides. So they made a decision that would change history. They'd build their own. That's how Svenska Aeroplan AB, SAAB, began. Not as a car company, but as Sweden's answer to survival. With their nation's defense at stake, their engineers worked through endless nights, often sleeping on factory floors, designing some of Europe's most advanced fighter jets. Their first aircraft, the B-17 bomber, rolled out in 1940, proving that a small neutral country could create machines to rival the world's superpowers. By 1945, Saab had built 661 aircraft. Their engineers had mastered something incredible, how to build machines that could survive anything. But then peace came, and suddenly nobody needed fighter planes anymore. 2,000 of Europe's best aircraft engineers faced losing everything. But these weren't ordinary engineers. These were men who had pushed the boundaries of what was possible in the sky. They looked at their empty factory and saw something nobody else could see. If they could build planes to survive combat at 20,000 feet, why couldn't they build the world's safest cars? It was a crazy idea. Aircraft engineers building cars? Nobody had ever done it before. But in 1946, Saab was about to prove that sometimes the craziest ideas change everything. In 1946, while other car companies focused on style and speed, Saab's aircraft engineers had a radical idea. If their planes could protect pilots in aerial combat, why couldn't their cars protect families on the road? Project 92 began in absolute secrecy. Led by engineer Gunnar Ljungström, 16 aircraft engineers worked in a hidden corner of their Trollhättan factory. They brought decades of fighter jet experience to a world that had never seen anything like it. Working with a budget of just 50,000 kroner, they tested prototypes on empty roads, using wind tunnels meant for fighter planes. Every test, every failure, every breakthrough was pushing the boundaries of what a car could be. Their first car, the Saab 92, stunned the automotive world in 1949. Its teardrop shape, inspired from aircraft wings, achieved better aerodynamics than most modern cars today. But it wasn't just about looks. Every feature had a purpose. The curved windshield came from fighter jet cockpits. The strong cabin design was built like an aircraft fuselage, designed to protect its occupants at all costs. Other manufacturers laughed at their ideas. A car designed by aircraft engineers? It seemed ridiculous. But Saab's engineers knew something others didn't. If a design could protect a pilot in aerial combat, it could save a driver's life on the road. By 1950, Saab had produced 1,246 cars, each one incorporating aircraft-inspired safety features that were protecting drivers in ways nobody had thought possible. This wasn't just another car company entering the market. This was the beginning of a revolution. Features we take for granted today, crumple zones, diagonal braking systems, collapsible steering columns, all started with a group of aircraft engineers who dared to think differently. Saab wasn't just building cars. They were bringing the safety of the skies to the roads, and they were just getting started. By the 1970s, Saab had established itself as a pioneer in automotive safety, but their engineers, still thinking like aircraft designers, weren't satisfied. While the world faced its worst oil crisis, Saab saw an opportunity that would revolutionize the automotive industry. In 1977, they did something nobody thought possible. They took turbocharger technology from their fighter jets and put it in a family car, the Saab 99. Until then, turbochargers were only used in high-performance sports cars. They were considered too complex, too unreliable for everyday use. But Saab's aircraft engineers knew better. The Saab 99 Turbo stunned the automotive world. A family car that could accelerate from 0 to 60 in just 8.9 seconds, outperform Porsches and Ferraris, yet use 25% less fuel? Impossible. critics said. But when the 99 Turbo dominated the 1979 Swedish Rally Championship, those critics fell silent. Car magazines called it the car of the future. But Saab wasn't done. In 1979, they launched what would become their most iconic creation, the legendary 900 Turbo. The 900 became more than just a car. It became a symbol of intelligence and success. By 1982, Saab's sales had tripled. Their cars dominated European rallies, with the 900 Turbo winning 24 major competitions in just 2 years. Time magazine called it the intelligent alternative to BMW and Mercedes. By 1985, Saab had achieved the impossible. The fighter jet company had become a luxury brand that even German manufacturers feared. But success attracts attention. And in 1989, American giant General Motors came with an offer that would change everything. Saab was about to learn that sometimes the biggest threat doesn't come from your competitors, it comes from your allies. On December 15, 1989, for $600 million, General Motors bought half of Saab. On paper, it seemed perfect. The world's largest automaker partnering with one of its most innovative brands. But for Saab's engineers, something far more precious than money was at stake: their independence. The changes came swiftly and brutally. General Motors demanded Saab to share 50% of its parts with Opel to cut costs. Engineers who once designed aircraft components and spent 40 hours hand-building each car now had to work with mass-produced parts from other GM vehicles. As one Saab veteran put it, it's like asking a chef to cook with someone else's ingredients. Another engineer resigned, saying, "We're not building Saabs anymore, we're building Swedish Opels." By 1994, the transformation was painfully clear. The new Saab 900, built on an Opel platform, marked the end of an era. While it still sold well, reaching 100,000 units annually, something was missing. The unique engineering that made Saab different was slowly disappearing. Cars that were once built like aircraft were now built like every other car. Then in 2000, General Motors took complete control. What followed shocked Saab loyalists. The 92X was actually a Subaru Impreza with a Saab badge. The 97X was a Chevrolet dressed in Swedish clothes. Fans called it the Trollblazer, a bitter joke about how far their beloved company had fallen from its aircraft origins. Saab was selling more cars than ever before, over 130,000 units in 2006, but they were losing nearly $3,000 on every vehicle. The company that once revolutionized car safety with aircraft thinking was now just another brand in GM's global empire. Their unique spirit, born in the skies above Sweden, was fading. By 2008, as the global financial crisis hit, General Motors would face a choice: save Saab or save themselves. For the company that once built fighter planes, the final battle for survival was about to begin. In 2008, as the global financial crisis hit, General Motors was losing $1 billion every month. Saab faced its darkest hour. General Motors, fighting for its own survival, put Saab up for sale. Hope came from an unexpected source. Koenigsegg, Sweden's supercar manufacturer, stepped forward to save their fellow Swedish carmaker. For a moment, it seemed perfect. One innovative Swedish company saving another. But in November 2009, the deal collapsed. Koenigsegg simply couldn't secure the funding. Then came Spyker, a small Dutch sports car company. They fought hard, negotiating through Christmas of 2009, desperate to save Saab. In January 2010, against all odds, they succeeded. Saab's workers celebrated. The future seemed bright again. But reality hit hard. Saab needed new models, new technology, and lots of money. Spyker approached Chinese investors for help, but General Motors, still controlling Saab's technology licenses, blocked the deal. They feared their technology would end up in Chinese hands. By December 2011, Saab had run out of options. The company that survived World War II, that revolutionized car safety, that brought fighter jet technology to the roads, was out of time. On December 19, 2011, in a snow-covered factory in Trollhättan, the last Saab rolled off the production line, a black 9-3 Griffin. After 64 years and 4.5 million cars, it was over. 3,700 workers lost their jobs that day. But Saab left more than just an empty factory. The fighter jet company that dared to build cars may be gone, but their spirit of innovation lives on in every car we drive today. If you enjoyed this story, you'll love our previous video about how Lexus took on Mercedes and BMW. Click here to watch it now.